Hello, guys. Welcome to the Fish Developer Deep Dive event. Let me know in the event chat if you can hear me and see me and everything. So today we have, for this Roblox creator event, 5 developers of Fish to basically speak about the creation of the game, the future of Fish, and yeah, who is this? Who am I, bro? I'm an event organizer for Roblox. All right. So, hold on. But yeah, let me undeafen and we'll give each speaker a short introduction. And there'll also be a Q&A at the end of the event, so make sure to stick around, guys. All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Roblox Fish Developer Deep Dive event. You guys can all, I don't know, introduce yourself.
We can go left from right, off.
All right, let's stand on let's stand on the line.
What's up? Okay, oh wait, I gotta go on the line. Hold up, I'm coming.
Be quick, be quick.
Wait, I'm here. Wait, which way are we gonna face it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, this is good. Which way are we going?
Start from Goth and go down.
Oh, okay. I am a /God. I'm a 3D modeler for the game.
I'm Nate. I'm the creator of the game.
I'm amazed, the event organizer of this event.
So,
Oh, WMA spot, bro. I'm Nick. I'm the project manager. I'll be putting out those updates.
I am Snow. I am also a modeler. I also do like slight animations and stuff like that.
I'm Pluto. I do the map building.
Nice introduction, everybody. So, the first section of the event is going to be talking about the creation of Fish. Basically, a short interview with Nate, like what inspired the game, how long it took to develop, and all of that. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. The first question I have for you, Nate, is, well, what I just said. What inspired Fish? What was the original inspiration for this game?
Well, there was a handful. Originally, honestly, it came from like a spark seeing a gap in the market where there really wasn't any, engaging open world fishing games on Roblox. And then from there, a lot of research. I looked up a lot of indie games and a lot of Stardew Valley research and all those kind of things. I looked at like any game you could think of that has a fishing mini game, whether it's the primary focus or a side focus. I tried everything I could to incorporate all of these things. Oh my goodness.
That is awesome. Well, next question I have is, what was your original expectations for how this game would perform? Were you thinking it was going to be a big hit?
Horribly. No, not at all. No. I had to cut off. No, I had very, very low expectations for the game. The game actually, like, I silently released it, and like there was like basically like half the fish weren't even modeled yet. They were just like, like the names of them. I really loved the game and I had so much passion for making it, but like I had very low expectations, honestly. I didn't think people really wanted to spend that much time fishing when they could just, do it in real life. But I was very wrong.
Well, I've never actually gone fishing in real life, Nate, but I've spent, let's see how many fish I've caught in this game. 12,082. So
wow, look at that. See?
Wow. That's
you basically already have your fishing license, honestly. I think you're ready to go out to the real seas.
Yeah. But next question I have for you, Nate, is how long did it actually take to develop Fish from the start of, having the idea to make a fishing game to the actual release?
Well, funnily enough, this was like the 5th altercation of, all of my fishing games. But this one in particular, even though I dropped it several times, I would say probably like 2 months of development, 3 months of procrastination.
Well, I'm sure lots of game developers in the chat can relate to that, Nate.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I fish IRL. Well, it looks like a lot of people in the chat are also IRL fishers, so you might have
Nice, that's good.
IRL fishing community in Fish.
That's amazing.
we'd be developing. Yeah, Snow, that is what you guys do. So, next question I have is, what was your reaction to the game's success? Originally, when the game started blowing up, like, what did you think?
Honestly, I was nowhere near expecting it. I was expecting like, 10 people to play it, but it was so exponential that I was like, I'd wake up from like 3 texts, all my friends, like blowing up my phone, like, like pocket watching the stats, and it was like, honestly, I didn't really believe it. I thought it was just gonna be like, a very short-lasting thing, and it wasn't gonna go very far.
Yeah, well, look how that ended up. Now we're here,
Right?
and yeah. So,
Yeah.
next question I have is, what is your current role in Fish? Do you still work on every update, or what do you do?
It's a little bit more staggered, especially more than it used to be. There was a lot of time where I was very, very drained from the game, but as time goes on, I'm trying to work more and more on the game, and I still do a lot of things behind the scenes, especially like higher up, like a lot of like merch stuff, all those kind of things.
All right. And I just want to ask a question off of that. What is your favorite piece of Fish merchandise that was ever released,
Ooh.
whether like a digital thing or
Mhm.
IRL merchandise?
Ooh, okay. Can I have 2 options? One that's like a digital, deal, and one that was a real life
Yeah, sure.
piece.
Go ahead.
I was such a big fan of our Lego brand deal. I think that was so cool. I feel like people always like, kind of compared Lego and Roblox like kind of negatively, so it was really sick to like, bring Lego to Roblox. And the second thing is the shiny Nessie plush that we have in like Walmarts and Targets and stuff like that. It's
That is
so cute.
also my
I love
favorite
it.
too.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Well, let's actually take a couple questions from the chat about the creation of Fish. We have a
Yeah.
Q&A session over here that we'll also be doing more of
Let's hear
at
it,
the
guys.
end. But I see
Go for it,
one interesting question here. If there was one thing you could change about Fish right now, what would it be?
Oh man, you know what? That's actually a really thinker, I'm not gonna lie. There really isn't a lot of things. I would say like low key our balancing, like that's always been an issue. Like even since day one, there's always been like really harsh metas, and I tried really hard to like, not do that, but like nah, I'm not gonna lie. I would say probably like just over time balancing.
Well, I would probably agree. I can't think of anything else I would change in the game.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll take 1 or 2 or 3 more before we go to the
Yeah,
next
bring 'em at me.
session of the event. Oh my gosh, you're going too fast, bro.
Pick some good ones.
What's your favorite fish?
Ooh, it has changed a lot over the lifetime of Fish, but when I first was making the game, it was the nurse shark. It was such a cute design. I spent so long on it, and I freaking love it to this day. I think it's the nurse shark or the double octopus. Those are my big 2. They're kind of like poopy fish, but I love them. They're so cute.
All right. Well, for me, I think my favorite is the mustard fish,
That's a good one. That is a good one.
specifically with the 67 mutation.
Yeah, no, we can end the event here. We're good.
No. All right. Well, one more related to the creation of the game. Well, this was already answered basically, but you can expand on it, I guess. Why did you make Fish?
Yeah. Like I said, it was like there was a large gap in the market. I feel like we've all like maybe seen a couple of fishing games on Roblox, but at least to me, they didn't really grab my attention. And like on top of that, I freaking love like aquariums and stuff like that. So I just thought it was like, like a good little combination. Something that Roblox was absolutely missing. And just gaming in general, really.
Yeah, well, I think we can go on to the next section of the event, which is talking about each speaker's role in Fish. So we have Snow, Nate, Pluto Lee, 049492, and Nick. So we'll start off with Nick. We'll switch to your screen, and you can explain what it means to be the producer of Fish and whatever else you want to explain.
Of course, yeah. I think that it's a very loaded question. I think there's a lot to really answer that, to be honest. But I guess I should probably start by what you really need is to first off understand the core loop of the game. I feel like, for example, this game has had a few different project managers and producers over time, and a bit of their struggles was that they didn't personally really play the game. They didn't really understand the core loop that well. They were kind of just trying to understand it from the player's perspective rather than having a natural approach.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like what they understood was just always a little bit flawed. But for me personally, before I came onto the project, I was just a player myself. I would play the game for months before actually having any opportunity to work with them at all. And I feel like, especially during the time that I had, I saw a lot of just problems and decisions that I personally didn't really enjoy. And it kind of just really made it like an important task to me to make sure that doesn't really happen again and make sure that that's kind of just like a different direction entirely. So for me, I think that understanding the core loop and understanding what actually is enjoyable besides, everything else, just avoiding purely analytic behavior is really important. And also understanding what's really off the table. Say, for example, the second seat, right? Stuff like that, you just have to understand that it's not a good idea and you have to personally experience as why that is because on paper, might seem like a good idea, but it's very difficult to really understand it until you've felt it from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you used to be involved with the Fish wiki before you even became a developer, right?
Yes, that is how it all started. I had I don't know, I cared a lot about the game. I felt like I was learning a lot. And from there, I feel like it really kind of did expand into that. I mean, the initial way I got reached out to for leading anywhere into this was from Noah a long time back. He decided that he needed people that were more just knowledgeable about the game. So they reached out to some of the wiki admins and staff and whatnot. Kind of that began, and then the whole trail up from there, essentially.
All right. So, some questions I have about stuff you've done with Fish. What has been like the biggest update you have worked on in Fish?
Ooh, the biggest. I mean, if we're going off of okay, if we're going off of like just assisting, that would be like Atlantis Mirror's Veil, but that's very minor. I would say like the biggest one that I kind of put together myself, or like really was lead for was. It's kind of a hard call. I would say it's between Fish Fright 2 and Fishmas 2. I feel like those are always my favorites. I love the season limited events, but yeah, those are probably my favorites. There's definitely a few other ones that deserve some respect too, but I would say those are my favorite by far, and I feel like most people probably agree with that.
Yeah, I think those are most people's favorite, and mine too, actually. But one question from Anonymous. What limited event would you bring back if you wanted to?
Now I mean, that's really difficult to say. I'll bring it back. I mean, like, I think my favorite consistently is always gonna be Fishmas. I'd love. There's so many things about Fishmas that I just love. I love the aesthetic of it all. I love how everyone gets together for it. Overall, I feel like it's just a really positive experience. But events in general, they do have to be timed well. I mean, I wouldn't just bring it back right now, obviously, but I'd love to make sure that we're reusing like the good things from events and adding on to them in the future.
Yeah, well, Fishmas this year, or last year technically, that was definitely my favorite event in Fish ever. So,
Love that.
yeah. Let's look here. What's your favorite place in Fish so far?
Favorite location?
Yeah, favorite location.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I honestly, man, I feel like I love Atlantis, to be honest. I love how it looks. I love how it plays through. I feel like it did a lot right. I think there's a few things here and there I would change, but I feel like it's a fantastic location. I wish it had some more love. I think that in the near future, we might do a little bit of something to give it a little more love or, well, something, maybe a little bit of hate too. See what happens.
Well, actually, that gives me an idea for another question. If you could remove any location in Fish right now, what would it be?
Mariana's Veil.
And why?
I think that it was a objectively a rushed update. I mean, I know what happened behind the scenes. It was a very, very rushed update. Some parts of it were, I think, fantastic. Like, I think that the calm zone's beautiful. I think that the content there is pretty cool. I think that Veil of the Forsaken is also really cool. But the locations before that are just, they don't look that great. They don't play that great. I think that the mining mechanics that were previous in the game were also just not good. They sucked. They didn't fit in the game at all. It didn't make any sense. Hence why they were removed. Still pending a rework on something instead. But yeah, I think that it was just overall rushed. And again, I think that some of the locations are just lacking the detail that they need. I feel like it's just very empty looking. And also, when they came out, everything was very horribly balanced. And I know that balancing is hard, but back then it was like a massive beginning of a power creep that really couldn't be escaped. And I think that was kind of a weak point.
Okay, well, I think that was a great answer. Um, do you personally fish in real life?
I have multiple times. My dad, yeah. I'm not going to say I'm extremely experienced with it. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I definitely have here and there. I live by the water and gone out on boat very many times, lots of times.
Nice. Well, that makes two of us. I think we can go on to the next speaker, which is Goth or 049492. So,
Yep.
yeah, let me switch to your screen. Yeah, just explain your modeler role in Fish and what you do for the game.
Okay. Well, hi. I'm a 3D modeler. I do like the smaller fish and items, like a lot of the like tiny parts of the bestiary, like. But yeah, I don't really have much to say, but I can show like here's a like vast majority, well, basically all the fish that I've done so far for Fish. You know, it's fun. I love working on it. Uh, I've done a couple rods too. I'm not really. I wouldn't say I'm like amazing at it, but I do enjoy doing it, and um, it makes me happy. I love it. I love it. Love everything about it. I use Blender for like the models. If anyone is wondering, I have a bunch of blend files. I only have recent ones because um, I recently got a new PC. I upgraded my PC, so yeah, you know, just stuff like this. Small little fish and
Pretty
little filler.
cool. So, what are some of the rods you mentioned? Rods that you
Um,
made in the game.
I have made, well, okay. It kind of goes far back. There's some rods that I made were a long time ago, some rods that I made were recent. But starting off originally, the rods that I made were Wing Ripper, Eardrum, and Axe of Rhodes prior, like before it got changed to Noctone. I did Dave Rod, Cinderblock Rod. I had a plan for another rod, but I lucky scrapped it because nobody like was on board with it. It's yeah, but um I don't know. I've done a couple rods. I want to do more, but I just like always have like so many little things to do. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well, unfortunately, I don't have any of those rods, but yeah. What are some of the favorite fish that you made for the game or items?
oh okay, favorite fish. All right. I'd say I'll give top three. So one of my favorite fish that I've done is the shiny stocking fish. You know that one like loud Fishmas fish that plays the music, the like Merry Christmas song. Um, I like all the turkeys, you know, for the Thanksgiving update last year. Um, like I did all the shiny turkeys, all the normal turkeys, and um hmm, third one, I haven't even really know. Probably this little thing right here, this the toxic jelly mats. I really like this fish. He's really cute and yeah, be like my top three that I've done.
That is pretty cool.
Oh, the flying
Um,
Gurnard too. Yeah, the fly. Can't
oh,
forget about that one. I love that one too. I actually have like all of my profiles in every fish server based off the flying Gurnard. Really cute fish, really fun.
All right. Well, I think we can go to Snow then, because I mean you're both modelers, and yeah. So I'll switch to your screen, Snow, and you can explain what you do in Fish or stuff you've worked
Yeah.
on.
Okay. Um. Hello, guys. A lot of people know about me. I've been on the team since March of 25, so it's been it's been almost a full year now. It's gonna be a full year by the end of March ish. Uh, and since I've joined the team, I've been making like I actually had what Goth's job was before, which was making all the tiny fish. That was like when I first started, and over time I've started working on all the bigger fish and all the chasers, like all the giant fish that you like, the hard fish to catch. I made rods, some bobbers, like a whole bunch of stuff for this game. I think I've made over like 1,000 fish. I'm not gonna lie.
1,000 fish.
If not some close to that amount. Here I can actually show y'all my blend file. If you look on the right side, you'll see all this stuff I've done.
That is
And this
a
is only one of my
lot.
blend files.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. And
Yeah.
Also an animator in Fish, because you have the animator role. So
Yeah, kind of. I've only recently been getting into it. Obviously I've always loved animation and stuff like that. And since I also rig the stuff for the updates, like whenever they need animations, for example, we can go over to the rot bloom, which I have named in a blend file as plant worm thing because I didn't know what his name was. But we have the full anything that needs rigs. I'm the one the go-to person to do it. Yeah, I've recently been getting into animations, like whether it's like just player animations for my friends, like for like little emotes, but usually it's for the rigs that I make. Let me go ahead and go to like the idol, for example. Here, it's like a small little animation for its idol.
nice.
I don't do anything like too advanced at all, like the crab, blah blah blah. But I'm only starting animation. Don't get me wrong, my animation skills are not like advanced. So I just have basic skills for animations and stuff like that. Here, I can go over to my base plate and show you more of the fish and stuff. Like I've worked on so much stuff for the game and dig as well. Some dig stuff right here. But
Who
yeah,
remembers Dig,
there's
guys?
I always say
That
this
looks
whenever I get
awesome.
interviewed, but my favorite thing in the game was the Jurassic World event, and because of the Spinosaurus, I love it. I absolutely love the Spinosaurus.
There's actually one
Wait,
question for you in the
Yeah.
chat, which is unrelated. I'm sorry if I cut you off or
No,
anything.
you're good. Don't worry.
What kind of dog does Snow have?
I have an Australian Kelpie.
Awesome. I also have a dog. All right, you can continue what you were saying.
What's it called? Nick, is it okay if I know we already talked about this. Is it all right if I show the my base plate and fish development hub?
Go for it, bro.
All right, because it is gonna leak like 3 models.
Yay!
But yeah, here's let me scroll out a little bit. Here's my base plate compared to the other modelers' base plates.
What does that say? Stinky
it's a little
Gert?
bit messy. Don't worry about that. Yeah,
Yo,
here's my
rest in
base
peace.
plate. Yeah, rest in peace. We have a lot of the big fish, as you can see, 100%. And everything I go ahead and put on here to get put into the game and stuff like that. For example, rot blooms. I don't talk about these things. You know, floral. This is the last update stuff. This is the Scoria Reach. This is Tidefall. As you can see, this is for the what's it called? Boreal Pine. Like, yeah, pretty much. Like any big stuff, any like rigs that need animations, like custom rigs that need animations. Just a whole bunch of stuff is what I do.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I'm looking for the leaks. I don't see them. I'm trying to
You,
look.
you don't see the 3 things in the back?
Oh, I thought yeah, was that
Yeah.
Oh.
With St. Patrick's Day, we got the
Oh. So
some
what is
little
that called
fish.
if you can
This is a shamrock bluefish and shamrock kraken and shamrock leviathan. Just little small things, but just some little fish to put into the event.
All right. Well, I'll see if there's any other question for you specifically before we move on. Here's
Of course.
one. What fish model was the most difficult to make and took the most time?
Ooh, that is a hard question because all of them, I mean, I wouldn't say any of them were hard. There are many that are extremely detailed and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say any of them were relatively hard. I would maybe what's it called, the Reef Titan. That was a hard one to do because of like all the little just because of the shape of it. Honestly, it was a really difficult shape to do. I know some people would probably think like rot bloom or floral garden, stuff like that, but if I'm gonna be honest, hold on, it's where is it? This thing, just close that. It's literally just a whole bunch. It's a cylinder extruded a bunch with a whole bunch of other cylinders extruded a bunch. The face is really easy, simple. I just did one top of it and then duplicated to the bottom. And then I used a little trick to add vines all over it, but I wouldn't say any of them were relatively hard to do.
All right. Well, I think that was a great answer, and I think all of the models look great. So yeah, I think we can move on to Pluto Lee. And
Pluto is fine.
all right, Pluto, I will switch to your screen and you can show off any of your stuff and explain what you do in Roblox Fish.
Okay. So I joined the team in October, November of 24. I can't remember. It was around Halloween of the release year. And I've been the primary map builder since that date, pretty much. We've had other people that help out, but for the most part, I've been handling that since October. My process is pretty simple. I'll try to explain it though. So every time we get start a new update, I usually get sent a reference that looks something like this. I'll take that reference and usually build a sort of block out in Studio so that Nick and whoever else I'm working with has a better idea of what it's going to look like, what they can expect. Because I usually don't do all of my building in the actual fish place. I import it later. But usually I'll do the block out and then I'll bring it in fish and then I'll start detailing. And this is an example of, here's the reference for this area, which I was sent before we started the update. And this is what it ended up looking like. And this is one of our newest updates, which I think people really liked. And I'm glad because I had a lot of fun making it. Most of my work is done in Studio. I do some modeling, but most of it's plants and things like this. It's not usually, I used to do rods and fish, but I haven't done that in a long time. Just been on maps. But yeah, I mean, my process is pretty simple other than that. There's not a lot to it. It's just taking these plants and whatnot and turning it into an environment. There's a couple like tips and things that I follow. I try to make sure that points of interest that I want the player to go to are obvious. These using houses and whatever, and I'll path the way towards those points of interest so that players don't wander with no idea of where they're going. But you also don't want to just tell the player like, I want you to go here. Because I think Fish is really built on the idea of exploration and adventure, and I don't want to take away from that. So give the
Yeah.
player freedom, but lead them in the right direction.
Yeah, well, I think everyone can agree that the map of Fish, the open exploration, is, one of the best parts of the game.
I
So,
agree.
yeah, well, how did you become a Fish developer, actually?
So similar to Nick, I was playing the game for months before I was reached out to. And I got asked if I wanted to do modeling or environments, but environments have always been what I preferred. So that's what I did. And thankfully, Nate already had a pretty good base to build off of with the style, and it was a lot of fun to take that and put my own twist on it. But yeah, got reached out to in October, and I was full time working by second week of November.
Awesome. Well, I'll look through the questions and see if there's any questions for you. If there was one area on the map that you could rework, what would it be?
Absolutely Marianas Vale. I really don't like that map. That map was rushed. We didn't have a lot of time to do it, and it was way too big for the time frame we were given, but we made it work, and I would love to revisit that someday. Fix it up.
W.
Do you think that Mariana's Veil has a higher chance of being removed or reworked?
I would say reworked. I can't speak for Nick, but I
Yeah.
don't see us fully removing it, but I could definitely see us revamping it in the future.
All right. Well, where did you learn to make models from? That's a good question.
That is a good question. YouTube. I just started watching tutorials back in 2020, 2021, and I started modeling, but I found pretty quick that I liked environmental design. That was more what I was into. So I've been doing map building for quite a few years now, and I was so excited when I got asked if I wanted to work on Fish, because I was already a huge fan of the game.
And what is your favorite location in the game? I also asked Nick that, but what's
My
yours?
favorite location? Probably, I would say probably Fish Fright from this last Halloween. This area was so fun to make, and I think people really liked how it turned out. Yeah, definitely Fish Fright.
Yeah, Fish Fight was definitely one of the best ones. But yeah, I think we can go on to the next section of the event. We did each person's role in the game. And we could talk for a few minutes about like how the community of Fish is managed, which I know most or everyone here is like mainly developers for the game. But whoever can answer the best, I don't know. What are like the biggest challenges of maintaining such a big community in the game?
I can answer a little bit. Low key, it's Fish has always kind of been built off of so many different, other communities. Even like early into the game, so many people from so many different, parts of Roblox came to play Fish. It didn't just really hone in on one, type of person, which is really great. But it does really cause a struggle because it becomes increasingly harder to, please everybody and give everybody, what they want when they all have their own different ideas and ideals. And of course, like you said, like the size, it can be really overwhelming, especially when, in like our community servers and stuff like that, it can become really overwhelming during like events and updates and stuff like that.
If you had any tips to give like smaller developers for maintaining such a big community, what would they be?
Always get a team of community managers and admins and moderators that you like actually trust. Get like a good system in, give them rewards for their work, and they'll like, they'll do their best and they'll make sure like, the streets are clean. You know what I mean? Like that's the best thing I can do. I mean, like I know not everyone has those kind of, contacts, but it works.
And what do you think about the Fish community? Are you like proud of how big the Fish community is now?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. I always, took a lot of pride in like how different everyone is in Fish because I feel like in a lot of Roblox games they kind of attract, like a small, you know, group of people kind of thing. But I feel like in Fish there's always been so many different people from so many different places all over the world, and like I've always taken a lot of pride in that for sure.
I agree that there's a lot of different, audiences in Fish. But let's look in the Q&A chat and see if anyone has any questions about that. Um, are there any collabs you guys would like to do in the future? I guess it relates
There
to the
is
community.
There's a lot. One that, we keep, trying to do, but it's hard is SpongeBob. I think that would be awesome. I mean, SpongeBob is already on Roblox, so like it's doable. We just haven't had the opportunity yet, but I think that would be the most fitting.
That would be awesome. Please do it on behalf of me.
Be
Please,
on the fish.
please, guys.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll try.
Um, do Fish devs have a separate team for the texture artists? That's an interesting question.
Nope.
No.
Nope, not at all.
Most of our
Yeah, we
texturing
don't
is
really
done using Roblox
need
textures.
textures. Yeah,
Yeah,
Just basic
it's all
textures, keep it
Roblox
simple.
materials.
yeah.
Yeah. And if we ever like need textures, anyways, we'll just do it ourselves because it isn't hard to find. Like we don't need any advanced textures at all for the
Yeah.
game.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Nate,
there are
for
some for
keeping that
short
simple.
content.
I see a
Yeah.
lot of
Of course.
hype in the chat about SpongeBob. So
We're trying, guys. We're trying. It's just
SpongeBob.
we haven't had the chance, but I'm telling you guys, when we do, like, we're gonna be on that because we've been asked that
I need
so
to
many
catch
times.
Patrick Star, bro. Like,
No,
I
that's what
I
I'm
need a
saying.
SpongeBob boat.
No, I need Mr. Krabs ASAP.
Get Larry the Lobster.
someone said Fish X Dig.
I mean,
Ooh.
I don't know.
again,
That
I
other
don't know how
game's
that would
kind of
work.
dying off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my last, or maybe my last question about like community section is how important do you guys think it is to have like a content creator program or a relationship
Oh,
between
it's
the content
so
creators
important.
for the game?
So important. It is so important.
They carry the
Like
game.
I genuinely, yeah, I genuinely think that content creators, they carry games absolutely. Once there's a lot of games on Roblox that when the big content creators leave, the game also leaves, and it's very important to keep these relations high. It's important to give them what they want, give them access to stuff early, give them easy access to stuff because they're the ones who are, explaining new content to players. They're the ones who are bringing in new players from outside Roblox and outside the game. They're low key the lifeline of most games, in my opinion.
100%.
Yeah,
I could not agree more.
yeah.
So, um, yeah, I think that's good for the community section. The next section of the event is talking about the future of Fish. So we'll start with Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what do you think is the future direction of Fish? And is there anything you can share about the future of Fish?
We'll say it's again another loaded question, but I think that it is very difficult to maintain the game. At the end of the day, it's a completionist game, and if you do add features that are very repeatable, it's kind of just weird. Like for example, prestiges and stuff like that. I know for a fact people really hate the idea of that, or at least a large chunk of people do. So no matter what, you have to stay true to what kept the game it was the entire time without making regrettable decisions, which is also very difficult. You have to look at the long-term value of everything you put in, so it's very difficult. But I would say as of recently, we actually did a recent Q&A stage as well, me and Nate, and we discussed this with a lot of people where we kind of figured out what people like, what they don't like, what needs to be changed, stuff like that. We learned a lot from it, and I think that from there, you have a lot more to be excited for moving forward. Still working out the details of the roadmap and whatnot, but we have a lot more interesting things coming along the way because I feel like over the past couple of months, maybe we have taken a little bit of a safe approach, I guess. But I would like to keep things very interesting moving forward, a little less predictable, if you will.
So you would say Fish has a very bright future ahead.
Yeah.
I certainly hope so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm excited for it, to be honest. I'm usually not, so I think it should be really, like, really cool.
I also just
All
want to
right.
quickly add that like at least like I really want to put a focus on like the community and incorporating more suggestions and stuff like that. I feel like at least for me, Fish has always been like, a lot about the community. So I really want to
Mm-hmm.
like put a bigger focus on their feedback and their suggestions of what they want to see in updates.
Yep, they decide the game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess individually for each of you, like, what are areas in Fish that you guys are interested in improving or revamping? Kind of answered like for certain locations or whatever earlier, but just in general.
I feel like I speak for all of us when we want to rework Mariana's Veil at some point. Not soon. Don't expect it
Please,
in the next like month. But yeah,
please.
I think we're going. I think like we can all agree that like the main progression in it is not unenjoyable. Like it's fine. It's just is very rushed. There's a lot of things that didn't fit. But I mean, the general idea of it is really nice, and I think like
100%.
it's very very iconic in Fish just because of
Hmm.
its size and its like notoriety. But I definitely think expect by 2027, like before 2027 hits, like sometime this year, expect a Mariana's Veil rework, like absolutely.
All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to it. And anyone else, is there any specific um, improvements or revamps that want to get done in the game?
When you say, okay, do you mean locations or do you just mean any sort of factor in the game at all?
Just anything in the game at all, anything that could be improved or revamped, and anyone can answer.
I think that a really interesting thing is probably the XP and level system. I feel like right now it's very bland, and honestly, I'd like to make it feel more valuable without it feeling like overbearing. So I think that's a really big focus as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm just bad at the game, but I've been stuck at level 1700s for like a month
The
now.
scaling absolutely just stacks and stacks like crazy because it's meant to give kind of like a completionist feeling without really rewarding anything too crazy. But yeah, it is kind of just an awkward thing right now, so it should be adjusted.
All right, I agree with that as well. Um, are there any tips you can give? You guys can give to smaller developers uh, on Roblox, like making their own games or in the process of releasing a game?
Hmm.
I mean, I have
I don't
one.
think. Okay, yeah.
I just say to stick with it because everything takes time and dedication. And if you don't have that will to push yourself to continue doing what you're doing, you won't make it. So you just have to keep pushing yourself and just sticking with it. You might be like mediocre at the start, but you'll improve. Everyone can improve certain
Yeah,
Yeah.
things,
I agree.
And I
aspects.
think to add on to that as well is that you need to make sure that what you're doing is what you feel like doing. Don't just do something because you like the end result. You should really enjoy what you're doing and not rush it as well. If you don't give yourself time to do everything and you don't really feel comfortable with it, then it's not going to come out good at all. Everything should come to you naturally, and if it doesn't, then it won't feel right. So just try what you can and see what happens.
Yeah, I think that applies to um, a lot of stuff too. Like, for me, content creation or whatever.
Mhm.
But how do you guys manage feedback in the game?
Right. So I actually, at this point, we actually have we expanded the QA team. It used to be just testers, but now we've included two new teams. We have a balancing team and a feedback team. And whenever we have new content for testing, usually we give them a little time to look over it and feel it for themselves. And then for balancing in particular, they get a lot of opportunities to like put their word in and say what they need to say. Same with feedback, any sort of content, any mechanics that feel like they should be adjusted. They also have a say in that, or just like planning for content in general. They help with that as well. Overall, very helpful crowd. And then obviously the biggest voice is what happens when it goes to the public, and then all of a sudden you have a lot more to listen to. So we have some feedback members in particular that look over, for example, our channels or suggestions and whatnot, and make sure that everyone is heard. And then they directly communicate that to me and a few others to make sure that nothing's missing. I would also say that content creators are very important as well. Like, for example, Carbon Meister, if there's ever a big problem or something like that, or something needs to be changed, he'll immediately reach out to me. And overall, it's just very helpful to have all these people around that can just directly communicate, because it does get exhausting having to look at everything yourself and try to understand everything. A lot to take in.
Yep. I can definitely see that with the scale of the game. But I think we can take some questions now and go on to the Q&A session. So in the chat, if you guys ask questions, then I'll be able to approve them or not approve them. So we can also host polls if anyone is interested in that. There's a poll feature on this thing. But yeah, let's look through the questions. And I don't know if you guys are able to as well, but some of you guys should be moderators on the events site now. But here's a good question. Will there still be changes to previous outdated rods to keep them being usable, like more masteries or buffs?
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily a focus of ours, but I mean, the whole reason we added masteries was to be able to easily go back to these old rods and give them, a breath of life kind of thing. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, every rod should have a purpose at some point in time, always. No rod should just be completely pointless.
What do you guys think about the Smurf rod?
Has a perfect purpose, actually. Yeah, no. Every
The
rod has
purpose
purpose.
was to
Best
make
rod on the
money,
game.
and that was it. So yeah, there's nothing
And
else
it
to
didn't do
not
that
gonna
either,
lie.
so.
Yep, it didn't even do that. So yeah, just put it in the trash, move on. To be honest.
All right. Well, also for the moderators in the event, you guys can accept questions as well. But when will tester apps be open?
I believe they just closed. They were open like a few weeks ago, I believe. As for again, I'm actually not sure. I'll speak to Rick about that, but not too long from now, I'd say.
All right. There are so many questions that the Q&A board is lagging. So just give me a sec to find some good ones.
Got that.
What is the update everyone disliked the most? I think everyone already said Mariana's Veil, but does anyone have any other update they disliked the most?
Second C.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I didn't want to throw it out there, but yeah, so I can see. I think the concept of a massive expansion is fine, but nothing about it was done right, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a really easy pick. I'm not gonna lie. And then second to that is the Animal Hunt limited bestiaries. That
Yeah, I was about to
No,
say
no, no,
animals.
no. That elephant was tough though. That's the one off. That was
was
Looking
hard.
at the
the one-
elephant right now, bro. We could go without this. Now, just hold on. Look at this image for me for a second, bro. Just think about this for a second. Imagine I put
No,
that in the game.
that's
How would
hard.
you?
That's
no,
hard.
Nate, if you
That's
saw
hard.
that in game, how would you react to me? Like you'd have to
I'd be
think,
like,
wow,
dang,
what is he doing,
dude?
bro?
These guys know what they're doing. Like they're really composed though. Like God really took his time with these. Like you know what I mean? Like
They're okay.
like these are some geniuses.
Which one visually is better? What do you think? The Tusk Maw or the Octafant? They're both like elephant related.
Octafant.
Okay.
I think it's cute. It's cute, bro. It's cute.
It is cute. It's just a little weird. It's all just a little jarring. But yeah, I get the vision.
You guys are sleeping on the chimpanzee.
No, that one's
I will
scary.
keep sleep. I will keep sleeping on
Yeah,
the
no,
chimpanzee.
I'm out,
Actually,
bro.
No,
Thank
bro.
you.
I
I'm in a
see
coma.
that one when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, bro.
All right, I found a great question. And
Excited.
you guys gotta take it seriously, okay?
Okay.
Does big games have any say in the game still?
Like Pet
big.
Simulator?
Yeah.
dear.
Big Games has never had any sort of interaction with us at all. I think they're talking about
No. Preston's big dog. He runs the whole thing. He runs the
big
I
games.
love Preston.
Big games, guys.
Oh, okay. Big games.
Yeah, no, I'm just
No,
gonna say
they
no to
don't.
that.
All right. That's great to hear. All right, this is a general question. How did you guys come up with update ideas?
I think
It's always been
that, you
sporadic.
know, yeah,
It's kind of
it
like-
really is random because to me,
Yeah.
I feel like the best mechanics and the best ideas always come from random times. I'll be like
Yeah.
just doing anything about my day, and all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, this would be crazy, or this would be really good. Or maybe you're just playing something else, like, wait, this would be awesome. I want to put this in like my game in some way that like matches it right, right? I feel like that's where it mostly comes from, but
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, this is from. Well, I should probably read out the names of the people asking questions. Actually, this is from Ferb. What do you think if there is any such game copying Fish, such as copying models or events?
I see. Like, what is our opinion on it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a like, a fine line between being inspired and copying. I feel like there's a lot of fishing games and a lot of games on Roblox that were definitely inspired by Fish, whether it was a mechanic or, a gameplay thing or content or something. And then I think there are some games that, like I feel like take some of our shine. But I mean, at the end of the day, like
Some
everyone
games.
does it different. I feel like every game does it different, and I think that they definitely have places. I'm not gonna be like mean about it. I feel like at the end of the day, it's like it's business and it's their own creativity. Wherever they get that inspiration from is their problem, not mine. So yeah, I'm impartial. For
Yeah,
PR
I
reasons, I'm
remember when
impartial.
we,
For PR reasons, I'm impartial.
yeah, but also,
I
I mean,
remember-
like, it's usually not beneficial anyways to just directly copy things. I mean, using your own
Yeah.
style, you're not going to blow up like crazy unless you use your own style to a pretty strong
Yeah.
degree. Now you can do a few
Absolutely.
things similarly, but, you
And
know,
I feel like reputations also get ruined with those kind of things. I feel like, for all the devs out there, be as original as possible. I feel like there's nothing wrong with taking ideas from other games, and there's nothing wrong with being inspired at all. People, even say these kind of things about Fish. There's nothing wrong with, turning something that you saw into your own idea, but, try to be as iconic as you can, because that is what will really inspire other people, and that is what will really continue the chain and continue growing Roblox is innovation.
I could not agree more.
100%.
amen.
I remember when we added the bloop, and then every other game started adding bloops, but like they had their own like different designs of the bloop.
Yeah.
It's just goated.
I found that really cool.
Right?
You know what I think the bluefish and fish looks like? The Alaskan bullworm from SpongeBob.
Oh my gosh,
and you
it
can't
does.
change my
It
mind.
really does. No, it does.
God thought that was 100% what it was, by the way. He thought the
I
bluefish.
know,
No, it looks
God,
exactly
yes,
like it.
bro.
He's not. No, he's not
He was
crazy.
100% confident.
No, it genuinely looks like that. We could name it that, and I don't think anyone would bat an eye. Like genuinely.
Yeah, and say, me and Nick were talking like we had a meeting today. We were talking about redesigning it because
Yeah, it's like very
it
skinny
just-
to me. I feel like it needs
yeah.
to be fatter. I feel like it's a very skinny bluefish.
Yeah.
I made that so early on into whenever I got into Fish
Sure.
that I just do not like how it looks anymore.
I think it's cute.
It's
don't mind
cute, yeah, but
I agree though.
It's
it's
not-
a little like
yeah.
it is a low BMI for sure. It definitely has not found a lot of krill in the ocean.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, from Loke Knight Fragmented, what is the hidden lore of Fish, if there is any?
Ooh, there is. I can't say it's been upkept, but when I was, the only one in studio, I always had lore in mind. I freaking love when games have lore. I feel like everyone does. I don't like. You know what? I'm weird. I don't actually like when games have a storyline. I like when I can consume the lore at my own pace, and there definitely is some. C2 had a lot of lore, and a lot of C2's lore is linked to what I planned as lore. Enchants have a full lore, stuff like that, like the statue. Yeah, there's definitely a good bit of it. Definitely not as much as I wish there was, but it takes a lot of time sometimes to fit it in. So yeah,
Very difficult, yeah.
it is very difficult. I don't know how games like Overwatch can incorporate it so well, because it's really hard to create these content updates as well as having lore linked to them. It's difficult.
All right. From Dark Knight 78,000,
Dang.
what do you think of rods like Fabulous or Masterline?
I don't I mean,
That's what he means, to be honest.
yeah. I mean, like, do you mean
because
like?
I assume he's talking about the difficulty to obtain. I assume that's what he means.
Yeah,
I
I
guess
feel
about
like some
how
people.
good they are, or
I mean, if it
something.
means the difficulty, I'm impartial. I feel like the community's so split on those kind of rods that have difficult challenges that I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. If you meant the difficulty to get them, if you meant that they're like strong, I'm fine with that. I feel like the game's always kind of had power creep, so it's not really, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't know.
But for difficulty to obtain, I feel like I care about it a little bit more because in my case, I feel like when those, well, at the very least, Fabulous Rod came out, I feel like I had a lot of experience with people telling me about how they feel, and it was always split down the middle. It's always someone that's telling me they love it, don't change it, and then someone else right next to them saying they hate it, needs to be changed. And it's always a difficult balance. And I think that what probably should be done is rods and stuff like that in general should avoid having any sort of like really just repetitive and terribly grindy type of obtainment. I think that focusing on things that are a little more just unique and more interesting is definitely a cooler approach, but I don't think
I
that's the
agree.
worst thing ever for what it's
I
worth.
I think a sort of fault that we had as well is with some of those rods like Fabulous, and there's a lot of other rods. They were originally made for somebody like a moderator, a developer, a YouTuber, stuff like that. And in the action of making more rods public, we would ask them to design quests or help design quests, and sometimes they would, go a little ham with what they want in the quest, and we would just kind of be like, oh yeah, no, whatever, sure. So
And
I think that was a fault as well. Yeah, W Green resolve. He designed the Fabulous quest, so you can
All right. Well,
put him on the boss.
this is a interesting question here from Niang. Who tends to procrastinate the most when working?
We've had multiple over.
I don't think we
over
should
this
call that out.
Me.
I don't think we should call
Yeah,
anyone
I
out
feel
for
like that sounds mean.
Okay.
Okay, I'll say me, bro. I'll say
No
me. I'll
way.
say me. I'll
No,
say
no,
me.
I'm really fucking. Oh, I'm really
Oh.
bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
My fault.
I'm
It's
really bad
completely
as
my
well.
fault.
I feel
I'm
like
not gonna lie.
I don't want to call out people like
But
that.
I
But
do
we've had people.
have someone in mind, but
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
I'm
been
also
people
really bad. Don't get me
who
wrong.
have waited till like 3 hours before an update to even start on stuff. So that if you know
the
who
worst
you are, you
ones
know
aren't
exactly
even here.
who you are. But
Yeah, the
no,
worst ones are not in this meeting. You probably don't even know who they are if I'm being perfectly honest. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Usually everyone that's
Everyone
very
behind the
active, they're all very good workers. I love everyone that works in the game as of right now.
We love you too, Nick.
Okay.
All right. A few Q&A ago, you guys said you will uncap the levels and you can go however high you want. Is this
Yep.
still on the list or is it scrapped?
yeah,
100%. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
still happening. Yeah. I mean, as long as people agree with it, it's absolutely happening. I think that it just makes sense. I think adding a level cap is kind of just a lazy way to try and add content as you go along. And that was actually the original intention of why they kept on raising it when, a
Yeah.
certain group of somebody's had control. Yeah, they just wanted free content.
yeah, absolutely.
I wonder who.
Big
I don't know
games.
what it was.
Preston from Big Games.
Come on, Preston. All right. Well, are you guys planning to implement lore? Well, that question was already answered basically, but
Someone answered, yeah. I again takes a lot of effort. I feel like more than a lot of people would assume, me included. But I think like we try sometimes.
Yeah,
But,
and I also will say that the next few updates are very heavily like lore driven to an extent. I am thinking about it quite a bit in terms of like how it makes sense. So, for example, the last update, the jungle one was very like kind of random. There's lore to it, makes sense, but there's a lot of very interesting things coming soon that won't be super obvious quite yet, but they'll make more and more sense as we go along.
all right. Here's a question from Alex. Right now, what is the main focus of the entire developer team?
What does that mean? Like,
I guess like what is everyone working on right now, or what is everyone
I see.
planning?
Well,
It kind of goes week by
now,
week. Like
yeah,
it's very week by week.
by week. Yeah.
I mean, we
Like,
do
right
work
now
on
it's
stuff
St.
like prior,
Patrick's.
but yeah, right now St. Patrick's.
All right. Um, from K970, are you guys bringing back rods that were removed in the removal of Second C?
There's very few left at this point. Most of them were brought back, and some of the ones that weren't, I think, were just not really good rods, if I'm being honest. So
I
feel
kind of
at
have a
least.
cool one that someone asked.
All right.
Astrius, he said if none of you could work on Fish anymore, what would you guys do next? And would you all keep working together or work on something by yourself? That's actually that's a kind of nice question, actually. What would you guys do? Would you guys leave me to rot, or what's the word? Like,
Bro.
Yeah, I think so.
I wouldn't. I love
oh, thank you,
all you
Val.
guys. You guys are all awesome,
What's it
bro.
called?
And
Yeah,
we are the dream team.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
A little
over
bit of
time,
both.
obviously, I've gotten into multiple different friend groups, and my current friend group is with many of the Fish team and Fish fellas, like Nick, what was it? Dick, Nate, Goth, Leah, that entire little friend group we have. I would obviously try and stay with the
Yeah.
entire team. Obviously, if I
I
can,
think a lot of us would definitely shift to another project together for sure.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is not the last you'll see of us. If Fish were to go away.
Unfortunately.
Some people are not happy with that, but yeah.
You know, I think a part of that question was what would you work on? I would love to work on an FPS game,
Yeah,
something like Arsenal. I would love
That'd
to
be
work on
fire.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal is one of my favorites ever.
I like pirates a
Send
lot.
you
I'd
some
make a game about
stuff.
pirates.
Sea of Thieves and Roblox.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh
would
my
do.
god, that would
Oh,
be
there it
so
is. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I do love creature creation, making fish,
Yeah,
any animals
stuff,
in
yeah.
general.
Yeah.
So I do know the Twin Atlas crew is always on those animal type games. So I would love to join them. That's
Yeah,
one of the
that's
teams that I
fair.
would love to be a part of because I just love how they do their stuff.
No,
and
that's valid, bro. Twin Atlas is tough, bro. They're the guys. Shout out Twin Atlas.
I did apply to them, but I got denied.
Oh dang.
Okay.
Yeah, screw Twin Atlas, LTA.
This is an interesting question from Holo Flakes. What is the process for making rods and passives? Are there more plans for mini game like passives like Opinions Aria?
Kind of. That was the reason. Okay, some rods have very, very detailed passives relative to others, and the reason why is because they're usually designed by people that have a lot of free time, or just generally speaking, they just have generally a very strong idea in mind, and it's very independent from the rest of everything else. Like for example, Opinions Aria was completely designed by Layla. I had no part in it because generally speaking, if I'm going to make passives for 6 rods, it's very difficult to make something unique with that. And also, at the end of the day, you're going to kind of circle around yourself a little bit. So I would like to be selective with what we give for cool passives. Just be careful
Nick.
because you don't want
Yeah.
everything to just rip each other off.
Nick,
Yeah.
your video ninja is frozen, by the way.
You good now?
So yeah, huh?
That was all tab. That's why. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, I think is it good now?
Oh yeah, that's good.
All right, perfect. Thank you. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. I would like to make a lot more unique passives, though. I think that unique passives make the game because, it's a fishing game, right? This is the way to make it really unique is to make your rod feel unique. So I like to make more, but not a ton more constantly. Just very selective about it.
All right. Question from Ridge. Do you plan to stop admin abuses?
Probably not.
Nah.
No.
I think that a lot of people will be really upset about that. Even though I
Yeah.
do think that it's kind of a little bit of a problem. I do think there's some things that should change, and
Yeah.
I think
a lot of
that's
people
not
will be
quite as
really upset over it,
lively.
though.
Yeah, I think some changes are due, but I don't think that we'd remove it. I think that's kind of just, it's too far at this point.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, a lot of people have said that they use the admin abuses to boost for the next update and get prepared for newer content. So I feel like it'd be kind of disrespectful for these poor people who can't spend all day every day playing Fish. You know what I mean? To get rid of admin abuses.
100%.
All right. Oh my gosh, the Q&A is so laggy.
Yeah, I keep
From-
on refreshing every
From
now and then.
Molten Speaker 4, what's the plan for the tournament system that you mentioned a little bit ago?
So this was my idea from very, very, very long ago. I think that it'd be really cool to be able to like do like a bit of like, you know, challenges or races and compete against each other, and that would reward you with, you know, different prizes and buffs and all these kind of things. Whether it's permanent progression, cosmetics, stuff like that. But in general, it would be like, you know, a list of like, I don't know, like 5 challenges. They'd be called like races. And, you know, whoever like does the best in these races, you know, gets different placements. It's not really like necessarily a fully planned thing. It's just something that I've really wanted for a really long time because I'm very competitive and I love competing against people and I love like, you know, anything like that. So that would probably be what you'd expect.
All right. Well, I'm trying to look for questions, and oh my god. Okay, there we go. If you're uncapping levels, will the level 2K and 2.5K rods come back?
Nope.
Maybe the 2K. I don't.
No,
Wait,
because here's the thing, right? We already agreed to not do that. We already before, and we decided that it was after it was done. So I wouldn't do that again, but just because we agreed on it before, and I wouldn't want to just like randomly change that. I feel like that kind of just like break a little bit of trust, in my opinion. But you know, I'm done for adding new rods in the future. But Astrohook and Fang of the Eclipse in particular were problems because they were really cool and interesting rods that were locked behind just playing a absolute living ton of the game. Now, I think that the Master Line kind of achieves that too, so I think that's kind of a mixed bag at this point, but it's worth relooking into.
All right. Well, from Fires, is there going to be more pay-to-win stuff?
No.
No.
No. Definitely not.
All right, great to hear.
I have one from that was a while ago, but I've just been scrolled on it for a second here from Polon. What other games do you guys love except for Fish?
Terraria.
Yeah.
Lots of inspiration.
Overwatch.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're going like non-Roblox games, I love like roguelikes, like
Yeah.
I don't know, Mega Bonk or
Okay.
like
Do you guys have
that.
any Roblox games you guys like?
Roblox.
I'll go first. I love Deep Oaken.
I like Isle,
That's my pick.
guys. Who plays Isle
I'd
here?
say
Let me
Dig,
know.
Isle?
probably.
Oh wait, yeah, I'll
Dig is
just good.
fun.
Yeah, that's fire.
I'd say probably like Arsenal and Rivals. I'm a really
Yeah,
big
Rivals is
FPS
tough.
person.
Rivals. Yeah, I'm easily going Rivals and Deep Oaken. Those are my big 2. If you can't include Fish.
Yeah, Rivals is pretty fun. Probably my number 2 game besides Fish.
You don't gotta lie. It's okay.
No, bro, I'm telling you, this Fish is number 1. I promise, guys.
Well, I appreciate it, bro.
I promise. Are you guys planning to add more enchantments or a new type of relic?
Maybe new relics, but
A lot
I
later,
wouldn't. I
I'd
wouldn't
say.
expect it. I wouldn't expect it necessarily.
Like for there to be large gaps, yeah. I mean, I feel like when the Cosmic Relic came around, it was because, I mean, there wasn't a new relic for like months and months at that point. So, and I don't want it to feel like oversaturated or like way too complicated. So yeah, it would probably be pretty slow.
Yeah,
Limited
I
relics
wouldn't
here and
mind.
there, though. Obviously, yeah, of course. That's want to keep that up as long as it's
Yeah.
fair.
No way you freaking got the Orca before me. I hate you.
I got 2 of them so far.
Are you kidding me? Bro, I've been here the whole time. These things are gonna go into Narnia before I catch even one of them.
Oh, okay.
So, Fly with the Thighs asks merch plans for the future besides SpongeBob.
I can like, you know, put a little focus on this. Did you just get another one? Are you kidding me, bro? I haven't gotten any. Are you kidding me, bro? You're not real. We have like a couple other brands that we really want to work with. I won't like share anything yet, but you know, a couple like known clothing brands, a couple like known like, you know, like toy brands and stuff like that.
Music artists.
Yeah, a couple music. I really want to start working with more music artists. So there's a couple that like, there's one in particular that I've lined up.
Or two.
That was good. That was hard.
Oh, that was not hard.
That was hard. Yeah, but definitely like I would say just expect like a couple more like, you know, merch deals and expect 2 artists at minimum. Sorry, mine was not nearly as hard as next.
All right, guys.
Unfortunate.
2 Hollis collabs confirm in Fish. Anyway.
Wait, why is he on the dot? Why is he actually on the dot?
Anyways, will you guys have a plan to make something similar to the second C from Anonymous?
The
Nope.
third C.
I mean,
We're
okay,
actually
the problem with the
C0.
second C though, to like begin that, first off, it was just the content was poor, but also I think that separating experiences is also just really bad. Because imagine hopping on the game and you're like, oh, where's my friend at? Oh, he's in the other C.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
that whole interaction just sucks. It absolutely sucks. That'd never happen again, that part of it, but that's for just a giant exploration, you know.
What do you think about
Block?
Bloxfruits doing that?
I mean, Deep Open and Blockers do it, and they're better in that game just because, like,
Different game.
yeah, they're very different games, and I feel like I don't want to say they do it better, but it just is incorporated into their actual gameplay a lot more fittingly. And in those games, like their first and second Cs actually have like, you know, more of a use case than just separating, you know, content for like optimization and stuff like that. So
I just catch them back to back. What? Sorry.
no, I'm actually firing you, bro. I'm literally getting mad. I haven't gotten anything. Look, they're
Yeah,
gonna go
so
away.
On that note, though, too, is
I
that
caught
I
them
think
all.
that Fish is a way more community-driven game than most other games, where like friends are always getting together and stuff like that. And that isn't really as present in those other games, so like separating isn't as big of a problem, I would say. Just as a little comparison as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, someone said
Hop on, bud.
No, get back, bro. I'm gonna kill these guys.
Come here.
Ray said, "Don't completely uncap levels, please, because what happens if your level gets too high? We don't want prestige or rebirth system. Put a
No,
high
there
cap
wouldn't
on
be
There
levels."
just wouldn't be. You
they're
wouldn't
just-
reach too high of a
they're-
level.
Yeah, it would be too hard. It would mostly like just be like more of like a cosmetic thing. Like
A flex, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're really high level,
realistically, yeah.
I'd like to add more purpose to the levels as well, without it being like overbearing, but not at the really high level. The really high levels, it'd just be like flexing, maybe cosmetics here and there, stuff like that.
yeah,
So it would be like a level system like in Arsenal, where it's like uncapped, but there isn't like a
yeah.
prestige.
There's not really a purpose. It's just yeah. It's just end goal kind of thing.
Cool.
Hey,
Well,
no one wants to be your poopy little Miata, bro. Look there, I want to be on my duck.
all right, we can get like 2 or 3 more questions and then like close out the event. So,
That's some good ones, guys. We need gems.
yeah, I'll let you guys pick the last few questions because you picked some pretty good ones.
We gotta read up. I know. I feel like
Yeah,
mine were
open.
kind of bangers.
Yeah.
Will there be interactive new boss battles other than just fishing? I have continuously brought up the idea of like spear fishing boss battles. I think it'd be nice.
I love the
but
Scylla one.
yeah. There's the Scylla one. I think like if you were to see them, it would be like sort of like the Scylla one, where you have to do like actions or interact with the environment, or it would be a spear fishing one.
Like,
But I wouldn't
was
expect
like
it.
Cthulhu.
Yeah. Cthulhu and Scylla both had environmental things that you interact with and defeat them that way. So I would say definitely expect something like that, maybe once more. And I would like to say expect something to do with spearfishing bosses because I'm not opposed to it, at least.
Oh, I
Awesome,
was
bro.
muted. Oops. Would you ever sell your game to a big company ever?
You know what? I think for smaller devs, it's definitely a really smart course of action, especially because a lot of companies nowadays, like as of recent, they've been a lot, smarter and a lot more like, tactical over time. But no, I feel like Fish is too established to like take in new investors. But truthfully, if you're like a really small team or you don't have a lot of funds, I honestly don't think it's necessarily a bad idea to try to bring in investors and loosen up the workload and payload on you.
And
Never
off
do
of
what you're
that,
capable of.
like, are there any final tips before we close out that you guys would give to smaller developers on Roblox?
Honestly, like whatever, like if you think it's not going to work out, it probably will. I feel like, the first step is just completing the game, and if you have enough passion and enough, effort to make what was, like a thought in your head into a real product, then I'm sure there'll be more people who will enjoy it. So always just keep pushing through.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can close out the event. And yeah, I would like to thank all of you guys for joining the event. And it did better than I expected, actually. So
Yeah, that
if
was
you guys
pretty
have,
smooth.
if you
You
guys
guys
have
were
any
great asking questions.
final thoughts or anything, then feel free to share them. If
No,
not,
everyone in the chat
then
was lovely, bro. You guys were W's. This was really
Yep.
smooth.
Bro, love the chat. Honestly,
I'm sick right now. I'm trying so not to cough in my mic, so I'm
yeah,
like really. I don't know if I sound. I don't know if I sound weird.
I just like got over a cold.
I'm really trying. I keep muting. No, this was good, bro. You did a great job,
Yeah,
Amaze.
yeah.
Can we get W Amaze in the chat? This guy's the GOAT, bro. He did such a good
WMAs,
job.
honestly.
Good host, good host.
Thank
Him and
you
his cute
guys.
little
Thank
cat
you
ears.
guys. Listen, I get sponsored to wear these, bro. Also,
Really?
yeah. So
Oh, shit.
thanks again to everyone for joining, and the attendees and
Wait, come over here,
also
mates.
speakers.
Everyone
And
else say bye. Get out of your boat. Get out of your boat. We'll all say bye at the same time. Oh wait, you're over here. I didn't realize you were over here. Okay.
wait,
I think we need a bigger
Stop
boat.
crushing your car, bro.
wait.
Okay.
All right,
What are we doing?
Well, yeah, what are we doing?
I don't know. I just thought
Why
we
are
all
we
line
this
up.
way?
All right.
Last one, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's great. And yeah, thank you guys
Yeah.
for the W's in the chat, and
Thank you guys.
yeah. Hope you guys join more Roblox creator events in the future, and thank you guys for watching this one. Bye, everyone.